How does the Paro know that Joseph's interpretation of the dream and accompanying remedy is the correct interpretation? So much so that Paro gladly hands over the authority over the entirety of the land of Egypt to this young boy who only this morning was languishing in prison. A little backstory. Our parsha begins with the story of Paro having two dreams. One of 7 fat, healthy cows being swallowed up by 7 emaciated cows. A second dream of 7 rich, healthy, yellow stalks of corn being devoured by 7 sun-beaten down, dried out stalks of corn. Now, Egypt is the land of dream interpretation. They have experts who are designated only to interpret dreams, and none of them can solve this riddle until the winemaker, who you recall from the end of last week's reading, whose dream Joseph had interpreted accurately, that he would be reinstated to his position as Pharaoh's cupbearer. He suddenly steps forward and recalls the story of this young kid, the slave, the foreigner, the outsider, and how he, Joseph, had correctly interpreted both the dream of the winemaker and his compatriot, the baker. And then he is brought to Pharaoh. Pharaoh tells Joseph of his 2 dreams, and Joseph says that the 2 dreams actually have one singular meaning. They've been repeated because they are about to begin to happen. God is anxious for Paro to take action. And that is that there will be 7 years of plenty, abundance, followed by 7 years of famine that will be so severe they will swallow up the 7 years of plenty. You will not even be able to recall that there was once plenty and abundance. And then Joseph does something seemingly unasked for. He offers remedy. And this is what the Pharaoh should do. He should seek out from all of his people a man wise and understanding and appoint him to apportion a savings during the years of plenty so that there will be resources during the years of famine. How does Pharaoh know that Joseph's interpretation is correct? And why is Joseph, again, a mere boy, pulled out from the dungeon, offering the Pharaoh, the leader of the free world? He is going to be told what to do by this young boy? Who asked you? And so we see that part of the interpretation of the dream is the remedy. You see, what was baffling Pharaoh's expert dream interpreters was how could you have both the fat, rich, healthy cows and the emaciated, thin, worn-out cows coexisting? When things are good, they're good. When things are bad, they're terrible. And thus it was in Joseph's wisdom that he saw that even during the time of plenty, there can be the awareness of the time of poverty, and thus therein lies the remedy, that they will apportion some of their profit for the time of their scarcity. You see, the winemaker had advice for Paro to get Joseph, yet the winemaker held on to it till it benefited him. Remember that at the end of last week's reading, Joseph pleaded with him, when you are returned to your position, remember me to Pharaoh. Please help me get out of here. But the winemaker didn't remember Joseph. He forgot all about him until it served his purpose, until it was going to benefit him, get him a feather in his cap when he came to Paro with the solution to Paro's problem. Joseph seemingly could have done the same. He could have interpreted the dream to mean there'll be 7 years of plenty followed by 7 years of scarcity, and for only 3 easy payments of $19.99, I will tell you the answer. Yosef could have seemingly held Paro up. You want the answer? You want the remedy? Well, now we're going to bargain. Now it's a tool that I have. Now it's a position that I can assert. And I want my freedom. I want to be reinstated. But Joseph doesn't do that. Rather, he freely offers the remedy. He gives it away for nothing. He just completely volunteers. He just completely gives it away. And that's what caught Paro's attention. That's how Paro knew this was the wisdom of God. Not only was Joseph being nice by giving him the answer, That was integral to the interpretation of the dream. And that's what had befuddled all of Paro's dream interpreters. How could you have abundance and poverty at the same time? So Joseph's uncharacteristic, non-Egyptian behavior to simply give away for free without any expectation, the answer, the solution, the remedy, that was truly divine. And even Paro recognized it and understood that this was his opportunity to change the entire character of his nation. Yosef applied a similar strategy when he had all of the Egyptians circumcise themselves. It wasn't enough for them to put stuff away. They had to change their essential character. And of course, years later, a new Paro who didn't want to know about Joseph. Enough of that. This was the integral aspect. This is what was distinctive. This is what clued Paro in, that Yosef was not just a smart guy. He was a guy with godly wisdom, for he offered remedy without any expectation. Very un-Egyptian, very godly. And that's how Yosef was able to seize control of Egypt, at least temporarily, and sustain the entire Jewish people and set us on the course for our next development. And this is the distinctive gift that we have. Not to be transactional about it, but to be forthcoming, to spread God's light. And how appropriate a Hanukkah message. For just as one candle lights another candle without diminishing itself, so too, when we offer kindness, friendship, warmth, advice, we will not be diminished, cheated. On the contrary, we will be elevated from the dungeon to the palace. Good Shabbos.